Today, we got in the building. Good old Matt Wells from 107.5, the Big Foodies podcast. And of course, Big Foodies is now part of the ZDN network. Matt, welcome back.
What is up, man? I haven't been hyped up for an intro like that in a long time. That kind of boosts my ego a little bit. I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
Hey, I will boost it all day long, my friend. You deserve an intro like that every time you get on the mic, especially during the morning show and Big Foodies. You know, big shout out to BB Shea. He couldn't make it today. I think he's on vacation, right?
Yes, yeah, he should be back. I think either late tonight or tomorrow is when he'll be back, and he's missing out, man. He missed out on a heck of an event this weekend.
He did. So just a little bit of a backstory, but before we get into it, there are going to be some spoilers ahead. We are going to be talking about all things Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're going to talk about the movie, favorite moments, least favorite moments. We're going to rank the Tom Holland kind of Spider-Man universe and go from there. And then I do have a Big Foodies question for you as we wrap up the show.
I'll take it.
It's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, we had a friends and family event this weekend for, Matt, my family, Saba, all my trivia hosts and whatnot, and some of our trivia guests. And it was just a fantastic thing to do. We can't wait to do more of it. Again, we cannot thank Golden Ticket Cinemas enough. Literally my favorite theater. And I am not just saying that. Like when I moved here, Brassfield Cinemas was my theater. So see what they did and just like bring it to the 21st century was fantastic. Now let me ask you, Matt, before we get into Spider-Man, like how many times have you been to Golden Ticket, and what did your son think about it as well?
So Golden Ticket has become our family's go-to movie theater. I didn't really venture to Brassfield that much before it was Golden Ticket, but now that it has become Golden Ticket, they do a lot with us at the radio station as well. So we've done some movie premieres, and I think overall, the thing that my son absolutely loves is their popcorn bucket subscription. So you just, at the beginning of the year, you just pay one price for the big popcorn bucket, and then it's just the cheap refills always. And so we always end up fighting over the popcorn bucket. So it's nice when it's just he and I go into the movie, or just he and my wife, because then we can put the bucket in the middle. When there's three of us, it becomes a fight over the bucket. But he is a diehard moviegoer. He's 7 years old. He's probably been to 20 to 30 movies in a movie theater in his life. It's such an experience. I'm such a big fan of going to movies at movie theaters. So that's something I've really instilled in him. So if there is it's just a foregone that we're going to go see it in a movie theater. He's got his go-to snacks. He wants an orange soda.
Okay.
He wants his popcorn, and he wants chewy Airheads. And that's his staple for going to the movies. He likes the one he puts on a blanket. He reclines the seats. The shoes typically come off, and that's his movie watching position. And the seats at Golden Ticket are 10 out of 10 for watching a movie in that way. And I even love sometimes, I'm getting up there in age and playing with them. I get the sore back. Sometimes you get a little heated seat action going, trying to work that thing out. It's nice and cozy.
I love it. Again, we had a blast. Thank you for everybody that came. And of course, if you want to join us for more of these, be sure to follow us, Zero Dark Nerdy, on all your favorite social media outlets, and of course the Big Foodies. And for our game nights and trivia nights, we normally give away tickets to Golden Ticket. So if you're here local to the Triad or just visiting, GSO Events on Instagram, Greensboro Game Nights and Events, or just go to the website, zdnpodcast.com/events. So let's get into it. But one more time, before I get into it, here, I do want to kind of this is a grind my gears segment right here.
Yeah.
Spoilers, man. I just don't understand why people want to spoil stuff immediately. There used to be a respect thing to where it's at least a week. You give it a week before you post anything near a spoiler. And it seems like nowadays that's not the case at all whatsoever. Whether if it's Spider-Man, hell, House of the Dragon, if I don't watch it that night, I can't get on social media the next day because it's already ruined for me. Matt, what is your take on spoilers in general when it comes to social media?
I understand. Let me just preface by saying I understand the desire for some people to want to be the first to break the news.
Sure.
And social media has become that, a place where we go to I want to be the first person that told you about this.
Right.
And I also will say that I do think that the spoiler for television happened before the spoiler was okay for movies. I do think that there was a time when you did have that 1 week grace period of, okay, the diehard people that definitely want to see it opening weekend or opening week, give them that window, and then let's post about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think the spoilers that I really started noticing it happening more and more was that last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Sure.
If you didn't see it when it dropped on Sunday night, if you were 20 minutes late, something was getting posted. Like, I still remember seeing the meme of the Night King throwing the spear at the dragon, and it was like Kobe. And if you were 10 minutes late, that was spoiled for you. And so I don't know what it is that people think TV's okay, but I'm going to hold back a little bit on movies. I think you should have that same, you're not going to be able to completely, not talk about it. But I think give me a week, and then it's okay to kind of go from there. But I did kind of joke with you before the podcast started. We don't want to spoil anything, but I saw the box office numbers. I don't know that there's very many people that haven't seen this film yet, so I don't know how many people are going to catch in a spoiler here.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's a great segue to go over the numbers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. All types of records are broken. So first off, 360 million domestic, edging out Endgame, which had 357 million domestic on its opening weekend. 932 million worldwide. So it's already, by week 2, it's going to be at 1 billion, which is insane. Tom Holland is having the best month of any actor's career ever between this and the Odyssey.
Agreed.
And, of course, Zendaya, too.
Yeah.
So, and Jon Bernthal.
Jon Bernthal.
Yeah. So, they're touring, they're doing their thing. I know they can't wait. I'm sure they're all going to vacation and just take the next couple months off. But on top of that, too, 72 million during the Thursday night previews, smashed that record. And then 169.8 million on Friday night, which is just wild to me. But it's also exciting because, you and I talked about this a little bit at the movies. Movies are back. Yes. Plain and simple. And I am so happy. I mean, thanks to the Odyssey, Toy Story, and Spider-Man, all 3 movies helped this weekend hit total 429 million domestic, which is the most for any weekend ever. And I mean, we were at Golden Ticket. There was barely like our parking spot to be found.
I was very concerned when I first pulled in. I looked around and I was like, ooh, I'm going to be parking over across the street, or I might be down at the Lowe's outlet center, right, and I'm going to have to walk over. But luckily I did find a spot, but it was against a whole different building. Like, Golden Ticket was bumping on Saturday, and I don't even think we had like prime time movie going yet. I mean, this was early afternoon when we were there. So the movie theaters this weekend, the amount of popcorn that was consumed in America, it's got to be record setting.
Got to be. That's, we need to look into that and do a Big Foodies episode on that.
There we go.
That is, I didn't even think about the popcorn consumption. I know we always talk about hot dogs on the 4th and everything else, but so true on that. So obviously we got to enjoy the movie. We got to watch it. What is your take on it? And, of course, I definitely want the feedback. I know that your son enjoyed it, but, give us a little bit about what his reaction was as well.
So I was a little concerned going in. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is something that he's really into, but the intricacies of some of it are just a little bit still over his head.
Sure.
To be 7. He loves Spider-Man, has always loved Spider-Man. And we've watched, I haven't gone back and shown him Tobey Maguire. He's seen some of the Andrew Garfield, but Tom Holland is really what he knows as Spider-Man. We've watched a little bit of some of the animated stuff as well, but like Into the Spider-Verse, he's grasping some of that. So I was a little concerned. I was like, listen, buddy, we're going and we're going to be watching this with a lot of people. Like, you can't be asking me a lot of questions, because he's at the point now where it's like, I've got questions and I need to know answers. And I'm like, I'm watching this for the first time too. Like, I don't have the answers yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But he was infatuated from start to finish. Now there's a little bit, and again, you mentioned some spoilers. There's some mind control jumping that's going on a little bit. And he was like, wait, is that a bad? No, that's a bad guy. Wait, this is a bad guy. So that was a little bit confusing for him. And I will say that you can really tell, like, when it's about to get to the point where you're like, all right, we're going to lock in. This is the point. And he leaned over and he said, I got to pee. And I'm like, I hate to do this to you, but you don't. Like, you're just not going to be able to go right now.
Yeah,
And he
where's the cup
locked
at?
in.
Where's the cup?
He stayed there and we got through it. And then we got to the credits and I was like, there's the scene, dude. Like, if you want to do it. And he goes, no, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to wait. So he was infatuated. He talked about it. He had a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of like what you've had planned out or anything, but to me, one of the best performances by an actor in a superhero role for Tom Holland that I can remember. But I think just it's weird because you're not going to see this nominated, but I mean, his portrayal of Peter Parker in this film could earn him an Oscar nomination. Like, I think it was the emotional range that he had to play. This is not, okay, he's been sad before in different things, but like, this was an emotional transformation that he had to go through in this film, from high school Peter Parker to now I'm paying rent and I'm struggling to make ends meet, but I'm also doing this, but I'm trying to conceal my identity. I mean, it was just a range that he went through. And to see him do that on the screen, it was perfectly portrayed. I've always thought he was a great casting for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But this cements it for me.
I honestly love that take. And I never thought he was a terrible actor, so I don't want anyone to think this at all whatsoever. But I think between him and the Odyssey and this film right here, I was like, man, this dude can legit act, because I haven't seen him in much else, and a lot of people haven't. Let's just be honest. He's done some stuff on Netflix and this, that, and the other. Some movies I have not watched yet, and I never want to personally typecast someone. But between his performance in the Odyssey and this one, I was like, holy crap, this dude is bringing it. And I think what really set it off for me is that coming of age story. Because it is it's an interesting time in our lives when we graduate high school, whether we go to college or not. Like, that transformation from like 18 to, and it's like a 4-year gap or whatever. So you figure 18 to 21 is instrumental to a lot of us growing up. And I just think that they absolutely nailed it. And on top of that too, like the fact that we can't do everything on our own, even though we may want to. And I'm guilty of it. I try to take on so much and do so much. And seeing this in a film, and I'm not saying I have superpowers or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it's just great to just see someone who has superpowers, especially towards the end of the film, being like, you know what, not only is it like appreciated, which he never really saw before in the other 3 Spider-Man films, but seeing him literally grow up in a film right in front of our eyes.
I agree. And I know and I agree with you 100%, big advocate for mental health and therapy and getting the help you need. And loneliness has become such an epidemic that so many people struggle with right now. And they kind of address that, like, in a way that you wouldn't think. He's the most famous person in the world in this film. Spider-Man is known by everybody, and yet Peter Parker is so alone. Other than having a phone call with the police chief, he's not talking, engaging, interacting with anybody. I mean, other than maybe I'm buying this at the convenience store exchange, he's solo. And that was an interesting perspective that they did a good job addressing in a way that didn't feel forced. Like, I do feel like sometimes certain directors or certain producers, they try to like force an agenda like that to fit into a role where it's like it didn't really need it. But I think it became such an instrumental part to his development as a hero and in his own abilities in this movie. To address it in that way, I thought was perfectly woven into the fabric of the story.
I couldn't agree more. Now, to me, it's not a perfect film by any means, but what is? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's still a great film. It did, as far as like, and these are very minuscule knocks that I'm giving. Like, everyone should go see this in a theater, period. Apparently, IMAX had a 3-week deal with the Odyssey, Now that's done. So Spider-Man, you'll be able to watch that in IMAX. I think starting this weekend. This episode will air this week. We're doing this Monday, August 3rd, I think. Yeah, August 3rd. So let me backtrack here just for a second. But again, to touch on the mental health stuff, it was great to see that between him as well as Jean Grey, and we had a great. To me, this was a really great introduction into what's going to be the next era of the MCU, which will be the mutant era, where we start to see humans that are not happy that there are or mutants out there. They're going to start to try to control them. We get an intro to the next generation of the X-Men, because my prediction is, as much as we love the OG X-Men, and I know we get a few of them in Doomsday, unfortunately, I think they get the axe, but that's obviously to make way for the new school, to have everybody on Earth 616, because I will say, I am really glad that we're wrapping up this multiverse thing. It's definitely ran its course. I'm over it, to be quite honest with you. Some of it's been good, a lot of it's been bad. I know whenever we get a bad one, it's like MCU sucks, it's over with. Then we get this, and it's like MCU is back. We back, baby. So,
it's such a roller coaster.
It is. It is. And I mean, that's why a lot of like the mid and post credit scenes during this phase of the MCU hasn't really been that great, because I think that they're still trying to figure out where the heck they're going to go after the Doomsday, and then of course Secret Wars going on from that. But this movie also could have been, to me, a catastrophe if they would have focused a lot on the other villains. And I feel like they did it very well with like Scorpion and Tombstone and Boomerang and Tarantula and Ramrod, to where they were giving nods to the comic book covers, but it wasn't Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, where it was just too much at the same time.
No, I agree with you. I was curious because I'd read and seen so many clips and things and interviews with, so excited that Scorpion's in this, and I'm like, how many villains are we going to have to fight? We've already got the Hand that he's fighting, multiple times, but now they're the good. And it was just, I was a little concerned with that, but I do think they did a good job at kind of focusing in on one specific thing and making, I always like a twist. Okay, so is the good guy a bad guy? Is the bad guy a good guy? You do get a little bit of that. But I think we're far enough into the MCU and this thing, even though we need to stay, I'm with you on 616, and let's quit jumping around.
Yes.
We don't need John Krasinski, and we don't, as Reed Richards, and we don't need Miles Teller popping over here. Like, let's just land on one. Let's keep it. But I did like that we're bringing in some of the other people that their stories have kind of begun to be told. Like, we get plenty of Jon Bernthal as Punisher in this, and very well, like, congrats to him for keeping his language on par with the PG film. Like, that was going to be a real challenge. Spidey had to web his mouth at one point to cover an F-bomb, but it was all good. But doing that, and also, I think there's just enough other MCU characters that you've seen. We talk about the new Avengers a little bit. Sure. We get a little bit of that in here. And I just think that, in the last one, No Way Home, Doctor Strange plays a decent role in that, and that was fine, but you could focus more on Spider-Man and not necessarily the other external factors around him. So I did really enjoy the fact that it was really focused more on him, with enough nods to the other things going on to kind of give you some enjoyment out of it.
Well said. Well said. I think that they did just enough with each character to not shove it all in our faces or like be super confusing. And again, we get a little bit of the X-Men in there. Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. I've loved this casting since day one. I will say this was a night and day difference between him and this, and then his film that he did, Punisher: One Last Kill, which it should have been called One Last Massacre, if anything. Yeah. But I love him in this character. I love their relationship. A little backstory here. A lot of people may not know this. Punisher made his debut in the Spider-Man comics. So he is an original Spider-Man villain per se. He was hired to take out Spider-Man because the person that hired him told him that Spider-Man was a villain, even though he wasn't. So it was Amazing Spider-Man 129 that came out February of 1974. So a little fun fact for you. And then on top of that, too, a lot of people may not know this. When Stan Lee and Steve Ditko pitched this idea to Martin Goodman, it was rejected. So he snuck it in, and that's why Spider-Man's first appearance is Amazing Fantasy number 15, and it got overwhelming reviews and became a smash hit, which led to the Amazing Spider-Man comic. So go out there, chase your dreams. If you feel like you're going to knock it out of the park, 9 times out of 10, you may be right, because if you just listen to everybody and you always take no for an answer, you never know what's going to happen. And now Spider-Man has been for a long time, but continues to be one of the best properties out there. But yeah, between Bernthal as the Punisher, I love that dynamic, the duo. And I still feel like with Ned and MJ, they didn't force that on us either. Like, it still felt very, very natural, which is what I enjoyed about it. Because that's what I was worried about with this film. I was like, gosh, there's a lot of villains. And then there's still the whole MJ Ned thing. And, you know, apparently there were still all, you know, rumors like this might be Jean Grey, it might not be. But even though, like, running a little bit long, I still feel like it was very well paced in terms of, like, what they gave us and what's coming up next.
Yeah, they tied up. They left at the end of No Way Home. They left a lot of things open for directions they could go. And I agree. That was like a hesitation for me of, we still got so much that we need to put a bow on, and yet you're going to bring in how many bad guys that he's going to take care of? Right. Like, don't waste the villain. Like, give it to us in the way that, you know, I know there's extenuating, you know, external circumstances here, but the way that Kang was kind of wasted a little bit.
Sure.
I don't want to continue. You're not wasting the good guys. Like, let's not burn through these bad guys that regularly. But I think they did a very nice job at not staying too much on one point, but using that relationship with MJ and Ned to develop that loneliness that we kind of talked about there with Peter, and just how he kind of went back to helping deal with that. Yeah. Even after, you know, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll hang out with you as Spider-Man. And then, you know, there's a little bit more of a reveal. Yeah. And then to kind of end it the way that they did with that handshake, I think was a good touch. You had that reunion moment of like, okay, there was something. I've known there's this hole and I was missing it. And then this is kind of what's filling that hole for me.
Oh, chef's kiss, especially the last 10 minutes with Frank staying at the hospital and Tom being like, are you crying? You know, are you crying? And then, of course, like, Frank putting on the mask and all. It was, oh, gosh. To me, it was definitely one of the better, and probably the best ending in this phase of the MCU, but definitely one of the better endings. It was just great.
You talk about that ending, Frank putting on the mask to kind of give Tom or Peter the chance to leave the hospital.
Yeah. And
that was his chance to finally get to experience the appreciation as Peter Parker. It wasn't up until this point. Nobody, you would walk past him on the street and not think anything of it.
Yeah.
And I think that was what contributed to the loneliness. But I think him going out there and feeling that, and then that moment he had with that kid where he says, like that, just, you saw his entire mental state and his whole mood, everything shifted just by finally feeling that appreciation that he had from the public. And then to name, you know, I do know your kids' names. Like, he really did, like, that changed everything for him. And I think that's going to change his entire motivation moving forward, just to feel that appreciation.
1000%. Because as individuals, most of us don't look for validation, right? We just want to kind of just go on, do our thing, and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, especially when you're not asking for it and it's there, it feels good. Like, you know, I don't give a crap who you are. If you just hear one person say, hey, I loved your show today, or I like this episode, or you know what you're wearing right now looks fantastic. Like, that little bit, and I love seeing those like social media videos where people do that, where they'll just like give out random compliments, and then you see people like so serious and they smile for a second. Like seeing Peter Parker like that and just soaking it all in. It was hard for me not to tear up a little bit. Like it was a sweet moment, and it's just one of those like, yes, dude, you are appreciated for everything that you do, and yeah, to me, like that ending was just chef's kiss
Because
all the way.
that's something that he has to deal with. That Captain America, everybody knew Steve Rogers,
Right,
everybody knew Thor, everybody
right,
knows Doctor Strange. Like
right,
you walk out, there's no secret identity to those characters.
right,
Bruce Banner, he's teaching a class, and the students are asking him about being the Hulk. So
right, right.
that's just it's Paul Rudd is begging people to call him Ant-Man. But I just think that it was nice for him to kind of get that with, he's getting in a bathtub and he's still wearing his mask to kind of keep the secret. And they make a big deal so many times of like, listen, I'm not taking the mask off. It's a safety thing. Like for him to get that moment when everybody else has continued to share that moment. I mean, good Lord, his mentor, Tony Stark. I mean, everybody in the world, he held a press conference to announce he was Iron Man. Like Peter just did not have that freedom, unfortunately, and to kind of have it in a way while still protecting himself. I was so happy that he got to experience that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. He did get it in the beginning of No Way Home when everybody knew who he was, and he didn't enjoy it.
Right.
So I could see the fear of, when I went through that once, I'm not going through this again.
Right.
So it was still so great to just see the appreciation and everything. And I know there's been a lot of like theories. A lot of people are already like that little kid's going to be Miles Morales, but that's another conversation for another day. But
and I think that too kind of speaks a little bit too to his youth.
Yeah.
The older guy, like Tony Stark, he's old. He doesn't care. Like think positively, think negatively, think whatever you want to. This is who I am. Yeah. And Peter was still impressionable enough in high school to where he cared so much about the public's perception. I think that's why it weighed on him so much. So you're right. He got it and he didn't like it. And I think over time he may grow to be more like that and just be like, know me, don't know me. I am who I am. Here I am.
Exactly. Very, very well said, Matt. So out of 5 gold coins, where would you rate this film right here?
It's like you said, it's very difficult to go with a perfect film. So it's kind of like BB Shea's hot dog reviews. I don't know that you'll ever get a perfect 10 dog.
Sure.
But this is pretty dang close. I mean, just the whole ride, it's one of the most enjoyable times I've had at a movie theater since going and genuinely enjoying, Infinity War and Endgame and those films. I don't know what kind of decimal point we can go down to. 4.8 coins. Like, let's go 4.8 coins on that one. I agree with you. There were certain things that, I would like to see this or maybe develop this a little bit differently. But Tom Holland is going to get 10 out of 10 for his portrayal of Peter Parker in this. I do think it's Oscar worthy, whether or not they throw the very artsy Oscar team is willing to do that for a Spider-Man movie. It might be a different conversation, but I just think when you look at the range that he showed in that role, the emotion that he showed in that role, he became Peter Parker. And that's what Daniel Day-Lewis has done for years, and he's been winning Oscars for it. So why not Tom? What about you?
Oh, man. Love that. So to me, this is definitely one of my big factors is rewatchability. I can't wait to watch this again because the thing is, especially with these movies, the anticipation is there and you're just super hyped. And that's how I get. Like I've already talked about this ADD, depression, the whole 9 yards. I get to movie theaters early. I want to get settled in. I can never show up to a movie like when the trailers start. I just can't. I have to get there super early. And even for our event, I got there early, but that was, to set up and everything else. But I still would have gotten there, honestly, right around the same time anyways. So with that being said, I really thought about it afterwards because originally after the movie, I was like, you know what? It was okay. Like, it was good, but I just like it's I feel like this one stayed with me longer than any of the other. This is his fourth one of the other three movies, which is a great sign. And I just started thinking about it more, and again, like the transition and like going from high school to not college, but just literally just being Spider-Man and being alone and not having your circle, no Aunt May, your two best friends, and your best friend and your girlfriend don't have no idea who you are. Thinking about that more often, and like just like you said, his performance, it really carried with me throughout the rest of the weekend. Because originally I was honestly going to give this like maybe like a 3.5. But after, again, thinking about it, because there were some scenes that felt like they drug on a little bit, but really it's more on like the character build and just seeing him like really come to terms. And of course, like the arachnid thing and this, that, and the other. That was really the one thing I wasn't super thrilled about. Like I didn't mind it, but I was like, all right, well, maybe they could have done this a little bit more to where it's not like he's literally becoming a spider.
Right.
So I will definitely give this like 4.2, to be quite honest with you. Of the films that he has. I'm not going to go down the entire list of like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Into the Spider-Verse and all that stuff. I rank this number 3. Homecoming to me is still my favorite. Absolutely love favorite, because that's Peter Parker. That's high school Peter Parker. That's who you get. And I was talking to someone about this today, and they were like, well, like, I feel like Peter Parker is like, high school. And I was like, this isn't The Simpsons. Like, they're not the same age for like 30 years. Like, eventually they do grow up a little bit. And even the comics show that. Like, yes, it's great to see the high school years and things like that. But eventually, yes, he does grow up, and there's other variations of Spider-Man and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's not the Simpson family that has literally stayed the same age for 30, 40 years now. So Homecoming to me is my first. No Way Home is my second. I mean, that is just phenomenal. Of course, fan service for days, but at the end of the day, visually, everything else. But if I got to break it down in terms of like the story itself, Brand New Day would be number 1. But as far as just kind of overall action, everything else, tying it all together, I have it as number 3, and then Far From Home number 4.
I'm gonna echo you. The Far From Home is definitely at the bottom for me.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, in terms of I for my if I'm ever gonna rank films, I usually rank them just purely off of rewatchability. Like,
sure.
If they're all sitting in front of me, which one am I going to grab first to watch again? Mm-hmm. And as of today, it would be Brand New Day, because maybe I don't have as much exposure to it. Maybe there's so many layers to it. I want to dive back into it.
Sure.
And I agree with you. No Way Home was a way to attack a Marvel film with all these different looks at all these different Peters coming together, and all the film from all these different things just kind of coming together in one way. That was such a cool experience.
Yeah.
But, once to experience it for the first time, incredible.
Right.
But once you've experienced it, it's like, well, I know this is going to happen. So,
right.
I mean, I don't want to, sound like a broken record, but your rankings are probably right there with me. I think I would go Brand New Day, number 1 currently.
Yeah.
Homecoming, No Way Home, and then Far From Home. But I would say those top 3 are very close, and then the gap to Far From Home is a much larger gap.
Yeah, and I will say this, I cannot wait to watch Brand New Day again, because I especially feel with the Marvel movies, like when you just first get into it, it's just the excitement, it's everything. Like, there is stuff that is missed because of just, and I remember I went through this with Endgame, Infinity War, a lot of my favorites. It was like the first watch is great, and then you see it again, and then you kind of pick up on things and things that you maybe missed, and you really appreciate it more. But I'm really glad you said that about No Way Home, because it does hit different after you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas Brand New Day, you still know what's going to happen, but it's definitely more about the character arc, the storyline. Like, I feel like meaning-wise, Brand New Day, definitely number 1 when you're looking at, like, a complete, I don't want to say character transformation, but just, like, a genuine story, and the actor, and really everybody in the film was knocking it out of the park. And it was great. I will say, to see the like OG Hulk come back.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, we've missed him. We've
Oh,
missed him. This combo Hulk where he's chilling, eating
yeah.
tacos and eating pancakes, like we don't want that. We want Rage Hulk. That's what we want. But I love how you kind of talked about the story, because yes, that moment in No Way Home when Doc Ock shows up, and then you know Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
and then you've got all like that's really cool. And then to bring in Andrew Garfield and then Tobey Maguire,
Yeah.
like that was really cool. But that was just a moment, and I think that was probably just an idea that was floated out, and they're like, "Well, we can do it." It wasn't essential to the like. It wasn't. It was a clever idea. It wasn't clever writing or clever development. It was just, hey, we could do this, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Whereas Brand New Day is the entire story is done leaps and bounds ahead of where that was. I just think that you get enough surprise. That's what I'm saying. You get enough surprises with here's Banner and here, we get those little moments, but the story carries it and not the let's bring in some actors that have played this role before.
Right. Well said. Well said. So there you have it as far as our ratings go. All right, now, so this is my big foodies question, and we can definitely make this into a podcast episode here.
Bring it on.
So my wife and I have been seeing these commercials. Obviously, every time we stream something, we're not rich. Everything that we pretty much stream except for HBO has commercials in it. It's just weird to try to watch like Game of Thrones with commercials in it. So with that being said, we've been seeing the Whopper guarantee from Burger King, where if you order a Whopper and it's not made to your satisfaction, you get a new Whopper, and then on your next visit, you get a free Whopper. What are your thoughts on this? Just as far as like one half of the big foodies here.
So I am on the record for saying that I think the Whopper is the best burger in fast food.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get some pushback from BB Shea. His best burger in fast food. The one his favorite and the one he eats the most are different. His favorite is the Baconator. He thinks the Baconator is the best burger that's ever been put into fast food. But he gets the basic cheeseburger from McDonald's probably the most.
Okay.
But I think the Whopper is the best burger in fast food. And I think that Burger King, the knock that everybody always has on Burger King is the amount of time that it takes to get, like, you're going to pull up. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's turning into fast casual at Burger King than necessarily fast food. They're not putting in the second window just because they got to drop some fry. Like, it's pull up. Go ahead and pull up. Pay and then pull up. That's what's going to happen at Burger King. Yeah. So I like that the new CEO of Burger King is taking this stance. I just think that this needs to be something that you feel pretty confident in, because you're not going to promise double free food if you think your team's going to drop the ball. And there are certain places that I will say in the fast food game where I kind of anticipate something's going to be messed up in my order. And I love them. Like, I was in the drive-thru this week. Yeah. Taco Bell is probably going to put something on the taco that I told them not to put on the taco. Yep. It's going to happen. Yep. Because they're in the process of doing it. I don't know that I really ever had that as like my issue with Burger King. Yeah. I don't know that Burger King ever really dropped the ball and put onions when I said no onion. I don't think that was what was holding Burger King back. So the fact that that's the stance that they're taking of like, hey, we know your complaints and they're that we make your sandwich wrong, so we're going to fix that. I'm like, no, our complaint is that we always have to pull up. So I like that they're doing this, but I don't think they're addressing the real problem. I think this is they're trying to smokescreen us by thinking that they're trying to fix something that I don't even really think that was a big issue. I mean, I just don't know that many people that are like, we can't go to Burger King. They always mess up my sandwich. It's like, no, I don't have time to sit and wait, so we can't go to Burger King.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point. Because just like you, I love Taco Bell. And I know it's guaranteed one minimum item is going to be messed up. Yep. And I mean, there's going to be people out there that are going to take advantage of this and be like, well, I didn't want mayonnaise, even though they probably said no mayo and didn't know that it came with mayo. And I think the only way to make sure that your staff does a good job with this is if you do an incentive program. Like, listen, whichever Burger Kings give out the least amount of free Whoppers, you guys all get a bonus, which to me would be like, all right, cool. That gives me more incentive to do this. Because besides that, if you're not doing that, what do they care?
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but yeah, I agree. Like I do like Burger King. I've always loved their chicken sandwich. The fact
It's so good. Oh,
it's so good. It's so good, and it's just classic with the French bread and everything. Like, besides Chick-fil-A and a few others out there, like, to me, that's the fast food chicken sandwich. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll get the McChicken from McDonald's if I'm there, but because it's like $1.50. But as far as like true fast food chicken sandwiches go, not the McChicken, the chicken sandwich from Burger King is top tier.
Yes, and I do think that I get their mentality of we're making, we want you to be the king. We fired the king. The king was letting us down, so you're the king now.
Yeah.
And I think to piggyback off that, it's hey, you're in charge. If you get the wrong food, we're going to fix it, and your next one's on us.
Sure.
So I get that it kind of falls in that line, but I still don't think they're getting down to the root of the problem, which is your fast food that's not fast.
Right.
And I just want you to be quick. Like, if you told me, come through the Burger King drive-thru, if you don't have your food within 2 minutes of the time we tell you to pull up, your next Whopper's on us, I'm in. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Hot take right there. I love that. I absolutely love it. Excellent. Matt, hang out with us for a minute. Again, y'all, thank you so much. We want to know what you think about Spider-Man. Be sure to give us a like, comment, all that fun stuff. Zero Dark Nerdy on YouTube. Fox 8 WGHP on YouTube. This will also be on Spotify, iTunes, all across the board. Be sure to follow Matt and BB Shea at the Big Foodies. We're going to be posting more of their stuff. Matt, you're also going to be doing, tell them a little bit about the Big Brother thing that you're going to be doing with us.
Yes. So my wife and I, we're a strange household. So many times, husbands and wives, they have like the same shows that they watch together. And my wife and I, we just have different tastes in the shows. I'm all into House of the Dragon right now. I was wrapping up Euphoria. She's like, where's Married at First Sight? Like, where's The Bachelor? Like, so we just have very different tastes in a lot of those things. But the one thing we agree on is reality, competition, television. Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, The Challenge, we're all in. And so with Big Brother going on right now, I'm excited to start doing a weekly rewind of our episodes of Big Brother. So I'm going to start after eviction on Thursday. I'll give kind of a week in review, kind of where things are looking, who's going to be doing what the next week, what side of the house is really struggling, who needs to win HOH to save their game, who do I think is playing the best game, who do I think is probably struggling, who's my favorite at the time to win. So we're just going to do a once a week because Big Brother's on 3 nights a week. Like, I can't give you that. But I'm going to start giving you once a week. I'll give you a week rewind of what happened in Big Brother. So stay tuned for that on the Zero Dark Nerdy platforms.
There you go. There you go. Again, thank you all for listening. Big thank you to our amazing sponsors. Let us know what you think about Spider-Man. New episodes coming out next week, the week after, all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we will see you next time. Peace.